Sometimes life tests us at the most unexpected moments. One ordinary morning, on a quiet main street in a small American town, something happened that would change the lives of dozens of people. It began with a single dad on his way home, and a young woman who suddenly collapsed in the middle of the road. What followed became a story the entire town would talk about for years, a story of courage, loyalty, and the kind of kindness that can transform an entire community, but no one knew that yet. All anyone saw in that first instant was a frantic father figure dropping to his knees, and a wall of roaring motorcycles closing in fast behind him. Before we continue, if you enjoy stories that restore your faith in humanity, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. This is Kindness Diaries, where we bring you real stories that show the power of kindness in everyday life. The story begins with David Collins, a 35-year-old single dad raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. David wasn't anyone famous. He didn't have a big job or a flashy life. He worked long hours as a mechanic, packed lunch for Lily every morning, and spent evenings helping her with homework. A simple, honest life. But there was one thing about him everyone admired: his heart. He was the kind of man who would pull over to help a stranger with a flat tire or shovel snow for an elderly neighbor without being asked. That morning, David was heading home after picking up groceries when traffic suddenly halted. At first, he thought it was just construction or a stalled car. But then he saw her, a young woman in a red dress lying motionless in the middle of the road. People were frozen, unsure what to do. Cars idled. A few onlookers gasped. And from a distance, the rumble of motorcycle engines grew louder. Without hesitation, David parked his truck sideways, blocking traffic from both directions. He ran to the woman, dropped to his knees, checked her pulse, and realized she wasn't breathing. His heart pounded. A CPR class he took years earlier flashed back into his mind. He didn't think, he simply acted. "Come on, stay with me," he whispered as he began chest compressions. Drivers stared. Several people recorded on their phones. Not a single person stepped in to help. But David kept going, sweat gathering on his forehead, his hands moving steadily, his voice trembling as he begged the woman to breathe. Then, the sound of motorcycles thundered closer. People on the sidewalk stepped back. Doors locked. A few panicked whispers spread like wildfire. "It's a biker gang, not just any gang, those are the Iron Vipers." David didn't look up. He was too focused on saving the woman's life to worry about anything else. The bikes screeched to a stop, forming a tight circle around them. The riders wore leather vests, heavy boots, and stern expressions. At their center was a tall, muscular man with gray hair and a thick beard. His eyes flashed with alarm the moment he saw the unconscious woman. "That's my daughter," he yelled as he jumped off his motorcycles. David swallowed hard but kept compressing. "She's not breathing," he said. The father dropped to his knees, shaking. Please save her." The moment was tense. No one moved. The bikers stood frozen, their tough faces cracked with fear. David continued CPR until finally, the young woman gasped, coughing and trembling. Color slowly returned to her cheeks. Her father let out a broken cry, pulling her into his arms, tears running down his face. "You saved her," he whispered to David. "You saved my baby." An ambulance arrived minutes later. Paramedics took over, but before they lifted her onto the stretcher, she reached out, grabbing David's hand with surprising strength. "Thank you," she whispered. David nodded, overwhelmed, not knowing what else to say. He expected that to be the end of it. Just a moment of fate. A life saved. A silent goodbye. But the Iron Vipers had very different plans. The next morning, David woke to loud engines outside his home. He rushed to the window and saw a long row of motorcycles stretching down the entire street. His neighbors peeked through curtains, terrified. David stepped outside cautiously, expecting trouble, but instead, he found the same gray-haired man from the day before standing on his porch holding a small wooden box. "My name's Bear," the man said. "I'm the president of the Iron Vipers, and you saved my daughter's life." David nodded nervously. "I'm just glad she's okay." Bear shook his head. "No. You did more than that. You risked your life. Those cars, the traffic, you didn't think twice. That kind of courage isn't common." The bikers behind him nodded in agreement. Bear opened the wooden box. Inside was an envelope, thick, sealed, and marked with the biker club's emblem. "We took a vote," Bear continued. We don't forget acts of kindness. Ever. So this is from all of us. David opened the envelope and froze. It was a check. A check big enough to cover months of bills, and something else he dreamed of for years but could never afford, Lily's medical expenses for her ongoing treatment. She had a chronic condition that required special checkups and medications, something David always struggled to keep up with. He looked up, stunned. I can't accept this. Bear stepped forward. Yes, you can. And you will. Because yesterday, you didn't see bikers or gang members or stereotypes. You saw a human life worth saving. That's rare. So let us help you the way you helped us. David's voice cracked. Thank you. I don't know what to say. Bear placed a hand on his shoulder. Just keep being the men you are. From that day on, the Iron Vipers became unexpected protectors of David and Lily. They checked on them, helped repair their house, brought groceries, and even surprised Lily with a brand new bicycle. The town, once afraid of the biker group, began seeing them in a new light. One act of kindness created a ripple that touched everyone. It reminded people that kindness doesn't care about appearances, or reputations, or differences. It spreads, it heals, and it transforms, and it all started with one single dad on a quiet street who refused to walk away. Let this story be a reminder to all of us, kindness doesn't need permission. It doesn't need the perfect timing. It just needs a heart willing to act. And when you choose kindness, you never know how far its impact will go, or how many lives it will change. So today, may we choose to be that spark. May we choose kindness, just like David did.